Brews and Banner Podcast. Brews and Banner Podcast. What up? Welcome to Brews and Banner Podcast. I'm your host, Rob G. And with me, as always, is the Legendary Brew Crew. What up, fellas?
I was reading this weekend. Mama.
Nah, it doesn't taste like dirt. My name is Lou Belgium, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm wondering, does Delaware have an actual culture?
This is the podcast that we talk about beer, but we also talk about a lot of things that's happening in the world, politics, movies, anything really that comes to our mind while we're here sampling these brews. Grab a drink and pull up a chair.
Ooh, we love you, Brews and Banter Podcast.
Red means go.
Yo.
What up? Welcome to Bruising Banter Podcast, where the topic is the rockin' in the brew. Well, happy to fuel. And I'm your host, Rob G. And with me, as always, the Legendary Brew Crew. What's going on, fellas?
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
This is episode 271.
271. We'll see.
271. A Bruising Banter Podcast. If this is your first time listening or watching, if this goes up somewhere.
Oh, my God. That's facts, though. If is the
Thanks for definitely listening. Watching,
if you're able to watch, appreciate you and stop stalking us.
For sure.
Yeah, if you do watch,
it's hard.
Congratulations.
It's hard to find.
Exclusive. Behind the paywall.
Yeah. Yep.
Eventually.
If you are a returning bruiser or bruisette, we welcome you back.
Hello.
To a special show because we are on location. If you can't see us, but if you can see us, you know we on location.
Well, if you see, you don't have to explain that to the people that can see.
Right. That's what I said. If you can see us, then you know we on location.
But describing it to the people out there that
Right.
that are audio people.
Yeah, why don't you describe it to them?
Audio folks.
The audio people.
The audio.
Well, tell them where we're at.
Well,
Where
we're
we
here
at?
at
You can't
Sacred
describe
Vice.
something, yeah.
We're here at Sacred Vice up in what part of town is this? Kensington?
Kensington. Yeah, North Square,
Kensington.
Kensington.
All right. And Philadelphia, PA. And we got our guest on this afternoon, this morning, this evening, whenever you're watching or listening to the podcast. And we want to welcome the fellas from Sacred Vice.
Welcome.
It is clap. But I don't know what the noise. What happened at first?
Drum roll.
The drum roll. Well, I mean, that's good enough.
Yeah, drum roll. Before we get into everything, would you like to introduce yourselves and what you do here at Sacred Vice?
Sure. My name's Justin Steinberg.
Hey, Justin.
Yeah, one of the founding
Hi,
cousins
Justin.
of Sacred Vice. And, do a little bit of everything here, too. Certainly help bartend, help play music. Help Ruby in the cellar, wherever else he needs help. And take out the trash. A little bit of whatever needs to be done, which I think anybody can appreciate. Yeah, we don't let anybody just take that out. If I can't take it out, I expect anybody else to. Right?
You got to be a special kind of person to take the trash.
The founders do this.
My name's Andrew Rubenstein. Everyone calls me Ruby, though. I make all the beer here.
All right, make all the beer here. That's
Short
good.
and sweet.
Good job.
Yeah, that was easy.
Ruby the beer man.
Ruby.
That's a solid name.
Never Drew or Andrew. Always Ruby.
Always Ruby. Been going by that since I was like probably 4 or 5.
Oh,
Wait,
And your mom and dad are Rubensteins, but are they Rubies?
No. My grandfather was a Ruby. It skipped a generation, then it went to me.
Interesting.
Fascinating.
I feel like you played a sport though,
I play all sorts of sports, but yeah.
because that's where
I actually got it for the first time.
Yeah, that's why I said that, because everybody calls you by your last name when you play.
T-ball coach was not saying Rubenstein.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, he wasn't saying Rubenstein, so he went down to Ruby.
Yeah,
he was like, well, that's my granddaddy's name, so I'll go with it. I like it. Welcome.
And I'm Matt Brodsky, one of the co-founding cousins here, and at this point, I try to do as little as possible.
Matt.
Oh, so you're the smart one.
Yeah, I like Matt's my idol. I like
Matt's
Matt
the smart
one. Yes. I have a question right off the bat. Founding cousins. What does that mean? I've never heard anybody describe their organization as a cousin organization, unless you guys are blood cousins.
We are blood cousins.
There it is.
Yeah, we are blood cousins.
Cool.
Everyone on the walls here that we're just Some of them recently decorated with cobwebs for Halloween.
Yeah, I noticed.
But we're related, good, bad, or ugly, to everyone up on these walls. All family.
Nice.
Family forward here at Sacred Vice.
I did see the pictures, and I was going to ask it. I was hoping that they weren't random.
Nope.
Just
Well, the
random
ambiance
white
makes
folks
sense,
on the
though.
wall.
The ambiance in here definitely makes sense. Because
They just think that they're random white folks?
Yeah. Yes, that's true. Yeah.
That's funny.
Some of them we don't know who they are, but we
Yeah,
know
but
they're
that's
right.
family.
Yeah.
okay.
Because they are older pictures. They're
Yeah, they are.
vintage
Some
for
of them
sure.
go back, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
We're lucky we had them.
Yeah,
Honestly.
yeah,
Not
that's
all
what I was gonna
families
say.
have
Whether
their
you know them or
family
not, you know
photos
that
like
they're
that.
their family.
Yeah, we had a fire last year, and all our family photos for the most part are like gone.
Yeah, and that breaks my heart, man.
Yeah,
So in the vein of his family having that family fire, I'll say, if y'all haven't already, put these pictures on somewhere digital that's not in the building, so that
Yeah,
you'll
that'd be
always,
smart.
you'll
Probably.
always
If
have
you
it.
have some time, you can loan
Yeah,
us to
yeah.
do that for us. That'd be great.
I can't even take the trash out. How am I supposed to make that
That's
digital?
true. That's true.
we know who's not going to do it. We know Matt
trying to
not
do a
going
lot
to
of
do it.
things.
He's doing the trash. Ruby's brewing beer, so we got to find someone else to digitally.
That one right. If you can help us do it.
Matt's a delegate. I like Melody. Matt's the delegator.
Describes itself very well.
Matt, I'll do it. You got to pay me though. I'll do
Matt
it. Though.
said, I'm
I'll be
not
happy
doing
to
it,
do
but I can get somebody to do it.
Matt says I like the idea, but I'm not doing it.
I like that.
Not doing it.
But yeah, it definitely goes with the aesthetics in here because it feels like I walked into somebody's house.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Somebody's grandparents' house.
Somebody's grandparents.
Yeah, grandparents' house.
Because even the record player,
Yeah,
the records.
the records.
You know what I mean? It's so not modern, but modern.
Or it's a step back in time, actually, more
Yeah,
of a step back
yeah.
in time.
Yeah.
Like,
They played some South Soul when you came here. It's like, you don't hear that in regular places. Like, it's not 1975, 70.
Then the indoor,
77.
the
77,
indoor brick,
yeah.
the indoor brick as well.
It is. It's definitely.
But then you have
back.
the indoor brick over here, and then you have the wood panel over here.
Yep.
And then the
All the
regular,
records?
Yeah. So it's like a whole
I love
different.
it, man.
It's 30s, 70s, and 2020.
Yeah, a little mix of everything.
Yeah,
For
it is. I
everybody.
like that.
Right. Now, before we get into even further, we always like to know what people are drinking on. So I'm curious to know what are we drinking today, and whoever wants to start, what you're drinking on today.
Yeah, I'll start. I'm drinking on the Softy Saison, which was I think the first recipe you created for us, Ruby, when you came on board back in 2021.
Certainly for a saison, yeah.
Yeah,
The first
so-
recipe I think was an IPA, but this
Okay.
was like shortly after that.
Yeah, 5%.
No, it'll take me a minute, but anyway,
No, but yeah,
there's so many names.
But it's
So.
a good table saison. Got just the right amount of funk to make it interesting, but so easy drinking and refreshing.
What's the ABV on there?
5.0, I think.
Okay.
4 or 5.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
5.
Or
Okay.
5, yeah.
4 or 5. So.
Okay.
All right.
That's right up there.
Ruby, what you got?
So me and Justin are both drinking the same thing. This is, I think, arguably my favorite beer on tap. It's the Crippled Affection. So Crippled Affection, it was an old recipe that Justin and Matthew put together years ago before I joined on the team. But then when we sort of were looking at things from more of like a business standpoint, I took this and ran with the recipe in a little bit of a different direction. So right now it's more of like it used to be like a soft, hazy, like small, like very aromatic little pale ale. Now it's got a touch of bitterness. I changed the yeast from a hazy yeast to California ale. So it's got like that nice kind of West Coast crispness to it. And then it's the same hop regiment as they did on their recipe. It's 50-50 Cascade and Citra, 5%, super easy drinking. But this one, I think, just it's got like the best like zesty flavor, and it's super aromatic, and you can just crush it all night. It's just one of my favorite beers, one of my favorite go-to beers here.
I can tell the way you talked about
Yeah,
it.
the
Really,
passion.
Yeah.
He rubified it.
I like that.
That sounds like a name of a beer for you. There you go. Rubify.
The Rubify.
You know, the funny thing is, from this angle, I thought that actually said Rubish, like it was like a play on his name.
It is.
It is
His nickname.
piece of trash.
No, that is.
We have a name for the episode.
That is Justin's name for me is Rubbish. I'm in his phone as Rubbish. So we got to call a beer Rubbish. And it ended up being like our number one beer too.
There you go. Wait.
So this beer's actually good. Like, why do you call it that? No, I'm Rubbish. The beer's not Rubbish.
That's funny. That is funny.
There you go.
Your trash beer.
So wait,
is the
what am
best
I?
beer.
What I don't remember what I'm drinking. What am I drinking? I think
Which one is that? I don't know.
ale.
Oh, it's the cream ale. So the cream ale was an idea that I had. So when special enough.
special enough. Wow.
So when I first started brewing with these guys, we didn't have this fancy brewery that we have now. I was brewing on a 10-gallon Sabco system, which was a very different experience for me. So I've been brewing professionally since like 2010 or so. And then I took a step back to design this space with these guys. And in the meantime, I took over their space, which was, they'll like explain everything to you, I'm sure, a little bit after this. But so I moved into this space that was a very far cry from what I'm used to. And nowadays everyone wants like crisp, clear lagers. So I can't brew that on this 10-gallon system where we're fermenting everything in little like kegerators. You know, I'm not really gonna put my name on something that's not gonna be to the quality that I want it to be. So my answer to that, which was similar to the history of a cream ale, was to brew something that's like a lager but an ale. So I brewed this beer, which is super low alcohol, 3.6%. Crystal clear, just got enough hop to it that I really enjoy. It's more than it should be, but I still think it's appropriate for the style. And then the name, I think the name came about, like I tried to name it something else. And then I think Matthew asked me, is like, why is it special? And I'm like, I don't know, it's special enough. So like, there you go.
I saw that coming. I saw that one coming.
Special
That's
enough.
great.
So, yeah.
Man, whatever works.
It ended up being like, especially to a lot of the big beer nerds that come in here, that's something that they go nuts over. It's a style that nobody really makes. I think it's seen a little bit of a resurgence, but I just really love this beer. So that's, I think when you ask like, you know, which one you should get, it was just like, that's the first thing that we usually say to people.
And you can kill a couple of them because that ABV is low. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's delicious, man. I love it.
All right.
And I don't feel funny.
You got to get to 10 of them. And
I'm
then
not warm inside yet. So, you know, sometimes you drink that one beer and it automatically just hits you and you're like, damn, should I get another beer?
We got those.
Yeah, I see. I see. Nah, I got to work tomorrow.
And what am I drinking? What are you drinking?
I am drinking. Thank you.
Yeah.
We forgot you was here. My bad.
You didn't. He did. Don't be. I have the non-alcoholic Bitburger Pilsner.
We didn't make that one. We didn't make that one.
Never mind.
Yeah, but
It's from actual Germany.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so why we chose that one, I quit drinking for a while, and in my vast like exploration of trying to find anything that I enjoyed that was non-alcoholic and beer related, it really came down to only that one was something where I was like, this is almost as good as the actual Pilsner itself. So then when the question was, which one are we going to choose? Because we need an NA option. It was between that one and Guinness, which was the other one I drank a lot of. But I just think this is a phenomenal non-alcoholic
Is
beer.
that something that you always have on? Is a non-alcoholic beer?
Yep.
You always have an option
Yep.
for people?
Yeah,
So-
it's always in cans.
So have you thought about making your own?
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
He
Yeah,
barely can
it's
find one he can tolerate.
Yeah.
He can barely tolerate one.
It's very difficult. It's a very intensive process, and we're
it
not
seems
really
like
set
it
up
would
for
be.
that here.
I
So
can imagine.
rather just buy somebody else's. It's going to make it way better than I can.
Makes sense.
Gotcha. It's good.
And that's probably more cost effective anyway, because I heard it's kind of expensive to brew it in your own house as well. Because somebody was always saying that they'll take a juice if you don't have non-alcoholic, just some plain old juice. Now what am I drinking? I'm drinking the Back Truck Britches Dark Mild.
Back Truck Britches.
Right?
Damn.
Go ask it.
Back trunk.
You know you want to
Back trunk.
back
Back
trunk
trunk.
britches.
It seems like it's
Go ahead, ask the question.
I almost thought it said
Matthew
bitches
wants
when
to
I first
answer that
looked,
one
but
with
I'm
where
so
that name
glad.
came from. I know he does.
I'm glad I double checked because I thought it said back trunk bitches, and I'm like, wow,
No,
they
no,
can't
no,
put that
no,
up
no.
there.
Yeah, we wouldn't do that. We have heard that before, but we would no. Not the name. Back trunk britches. Britches as in pantaloons.
Pants, yeah.
dungarees.
Dungarees.
Well, where'd that name come from? Who
Go
did
ahead,
that?
Matthew.
Oh man,
So,
here he goes.
He's not delegating this time.
I'll talk every once in a while. Justin and our grandfather was a traveling salesman, and what he sold was kids' clothing. And he would go like down to Baltimore, up to New England, selling kids' clothing. And then he would come back from his trips, and he'd have a trunk in his. He used to drive a Cadillac. He'd have his trunk in his Cadillac full of clothes, his samples. And so when he would come back from his trips, I'd be over there visiting, or Justin would be over there, or my brother, whoever. He'd be like, "Come over to my trunk," and he would pop his trunk open. And we'd be like, we would get to pick the pants we'd want to take home, and those were our clothes.
First choice britches.
The best part though, is, so I'm a little younger. This is real. This is real. I swear to God, this is real.
That's what makes it crazy.
Yeah, and
believe it.
the best part about it though is I was probably a little too young for this, but I think Matthew didn't think that pants came from anywhere but their grandfather's. I feel like one day he was like at school. He was at school at 6th grade, and he was like, "Wait, you got your pants from a store?" I thought all pants came from my granddaddy's trunk.
Oh man.
Yo, I love it.
That's a realization.
I love it.
That day, wow. I know that day was
That's
A
special.
little weird.
nice.
Just a little weird.
He was like, what?
Yeah, all my
Can
pants
you
from my
imagine how
granddaddy's.
stunned he was?
Right. I've been running to this trunk for 8 years.
For the longest time, though, I had pants that nobody else had.
Of course you did.
You had first
I had like
choice.
blue corduroys, like electric blue corduroys from Papa.
With the buttons down the side like they was me. No one had those.
That's crazy. And obviously, he didn't let it go. It's the reason why.
Yeah. It's,
Can't make that
it's
shit up.
definitely a life event. It definitely was a life event. That's a good name.
That's funny. I like that. I like that.
What you think?
Oh, I love it. There's good beers. I haven't had one. The one I tasted so far has been good. So I'm not mad at it, and it's easy drinking. 3.6. You can drink all day. You can't drink all day. If
3.6
you
is
start
in
in
a
the morning.
zero.
Yeah. So it makes me wonder, like, when people are drinking these low ABVs, right? When do they leave?
Never.
You're here for like 3 hours. Just
Conversation's good for sure.
right.
The good thing about our area and where we're located is there's plenty of options all over, so people tend to go from one place to another. So, I mean, we always want to have the option where it's like you want to go that low because you're at it all day.
Right.
Are you going to dinner and you just want one and then you want to get it in before you get there? We have those options. And having something that low, like the back trunk was their formulation, so it was always meant to be that low. And then something with like the special enough, I think I brewed it for the first time, and I like being a 10-gallon system. I just threw it together, and then it ended up being 3.6. So that was just sort of what it was kind of thing.
Right.
But as far as what I really enjoy, I really like the lower ABV beers, stuff that's like 5.5 and below. So and those are the ones that I like to make the best. So some of them tend to be on the lower side. And then the higher stuff, it's like I want to go a big stout because, again, that's what I like to drink. Or it's like a double IPA because you should always have at least one double IPA on. So, we're always going to get those like varying ABVs in no matter what. But But as far as, how long people stay here, there are a lot of people that just come and hang out and just spend hours here drinking Special Enough. It's our number one seller by like twice as much as any other beer. So.
So it is special. It is special enough.
Especially now that the Eagles are back, like, everyone's coming here, and it's just like, Sunday is our biggest day for that beer. We put it on
Philly
special
special
that day
enough.
too. So, yeah.
You just put Philly at the beginning of it. You got a Philly special enough. Make it green. When they make the playoffs, turn it green.
I won't make it green, but I like the Philly special enough.
I don't know how to make it green.
Don't.
When I say make it green, still make it taste like.
Oh yeah, you just put food coloring in. That's what everyone else does.
I'm
not doing that.
Just the playoff. It's the playoffs.
I get.
You do special things for the playoffs.
Yeah, I get.
Or you can just change the name and call it that. For
Philly Special Enough is a solid name. That is good.
You're welcome.
Now let's. I guess we go the origin story. We didn't say like how did you all get into craft beer or beer to begin with? Like why did you say
How do we
I like
here?
beer?
Yeah,
I'm gonna ask my cousin.
So
because they say family and business is oil and water, but it doesn't seem like it.
Trust me, we have our battles all the time.
I feel like y'all, somebody punch somebody.
Y'all been
but y'all been cousins forever, so somebody punched somebody in the face once or
No,
twice.
never come to blows. But
They argued over pants.
I need the buttons. Yeah, I want the buttons. Give me the buttons.
I will say that this business has brought us closer to blows than anything.
Yes, that's absolutely true. Yeah. That is so true. But our relationship with beer, I mean, individually, I think we've always both loved beer, but back in, I guess it was 2012 or 2013, I had bought a book for Matthew for Christmas, Richard Wagner's.
I believe so. The history of brewing in Philadelphia,
correct,
or something like that.
Correct. And I mean, we've always enjoyed beer together, but that was a gift to accentuate that mutual love of something that was big to the city, right? It's got a great, rich brewing history. So after that book, though, we started home brewing together at Matthew's house, and it became something that was not just once in a while, but literally every single week. So four or five times a month. And from there, it just kind of grew into something that we wanted to continue to pursue. Moving from his house to finding a commercial space at our original location, which isn't terribly far from here, up in northern Kensington. That's what launched and started Sacred Vice. We started brewing there in 2016, got a license by 2018, opened up the tasting room there, and somewhere along the way met Ruby as well. But that's pretty much how we kind of got to where we are, and eventually grew out of that space and wanted to go and find something more larger and professional space like this, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
and you can add.
I'll add a little more color to it. So I'm a history nerd and I'm a beer nerd, and he gave me this book that combined the both of them. And like history of beer in Philadelphia goes back to Billy Penn and Ben Franklin, and first lagers made in the United States and all that good stuff.
1688.
And so I read it, and I'm like, I want to be part of this. And, like, I'm reading it while I'm drinking, right? So I'm like, probably not of the right mind. So Justin and I went out later that, I think it was probably, a few weeks after Christmas, and I'm, like, telling him this idea. Like,
which would have been my birthday.
We should get into brewing. Like, we should do this. Like, and so then we started brewing at my house.
Is it just the two cousins, just the two of you guys?
Yeah, okay. We were the only dumb enough people to do it together. So we
have siblings though, but yeah.
But we started to brew, and then we were brewing at my house, like Justin said, and then my wife kicked us out to the patio, and then eventually she just completely kicked us out of the house, and that's
glad you said it. I was tired of bringing Fran into it that way, where I didn't want to do that.
She probably won't listen.
No, I'm sure not, but my conscience has to be clean.
But that's when we found this commercial space in an old textile mill in northern Kensington, and figured out a way to make a go of it there, just to say, like, hey, if we make beer and try to sell it to people, will people give us money to drink it? And that we opened that up December 2018, and had a really good run of it before COVID. COVID hit, and we just started selling. We just sold more during COVID than we did before COVID, just selling, beer to go off of a loading dock. And then that's when we kind of started to dream a little bit bigger and think of this place. So that's kind of how we got here. But
now y'all went straight from y'all went straight to the real home brewing kits. Y'all didn't go like Mr. Beer. Y'all went straight to we got kettles and pots. Y'all went all in from the beginning.
Well, yeah, we started with the
pre-made kits.
Exactly.
A couple pre-made kits, and then we, went to
made our own little mash tun thing.
The Gatorade.
Yep.
Cooler tank things,
but then to a Sapco, which
we went to a Sapco, which is a 10-gallon system that Ruby was talking about, and
but then that to 10 barrel.
Yeah. Which
do you guys think will still be in the same location if it wasn't for COVID?
I think we always thought about where we could take this.
It was just the way you said it. You was like, we got more ambitious because COVID. We sold more during COVID than we were.
Yeah.
So I always wonder, because I know with us, our podcast wouldn't be where it is without.
Yeah,
COVID,
I think COVID gave us a little bit of, gave us a little bit more confidence, knowing because I think with everybody or a lot of people when COVID hit, it was like, do we just shut it down and just say it was a good run, or do we try to make a go of it? And we're like, we have some beer to sell. Let's see what happens.
It was more time than ever, so we were like, let's lean into it more.
We started making more. We literally were making new recipes every week and
multiple.
Yeah, and just it just gave us. I think you're right. I think without COVID, who knows?
I'll say this: during COVID, Ruby and I started to hang out more. We had our own little bubble. So Ruby and I had a thing it was early on in COVID. It was a Friday. It was all right, well, we just saw each other 3 days ago. You cool, I'm cool. So Friday nights became a thing where we would share beers at his apartment. And we were friendly and closer before, but I'd say those Friday nights and during COVID certainly it allowed our love of beer and our relationship that way to start to blossom in a cool way. That I think certainly helped us get to this point where it was yo, let's do this.
COVID circle. Don't you go around nobody, and I won't go around nobody. We'll be around each other.
I'll see you next Friday.
I'll see you next Friday. Exactly right.
Ruby, are you a cousin?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
He is now.
Not at all.
Yeah, he is.
He's definitely a cousin now.
He's like, nope.
So Ruby,
he's like Pittsburgh.
So when did you get into beer?
When? So I started brewing beer when I was in college. I think it was 2007 or 8. I started getting into better beer around that time, and I quickly learned that I couldn't afford it. I was working at a place in the city called the Foodery. That was one of my jobs through college, and I was just stocking shelves, but I got a good discount on all these beers from all around the world. And back at that time, having the selection that we have now was not really a thing. The Foodery was one of the only places that you could just get a bottle of this, a bottle of that, a bottle of something else, rather than buying a whole case or going to a bar and spending however much money at a bar.
And then you had a discount too.
I working at the Foodery. I always had a really heavy appreciation. I already had this before working at the Foodery. That's probably why I ended up there. But this is going way back. So when I was living in West Philly, and a brewery opened up down the street from me called Dock Street. So the brewer there I had always seen when I was out doing whatever. So I eventually got friendly with him, started volunteering. So I volunteered there for a few months, and then he left and went to Notting Head, which used to be in Center City. And then I volunteered there for a little bit. Then I graduated, and I got a job with Iron Hill, about 6 months after I graduated. So I was there for 4 years, and I built 3 breweries with them. How many did I work at? At least 5 or 6. And then by the time I left, I was about to be head brewer of Mapleshade, the location that I started at. Then I left to start a company called 2SP with a dude from Iron Hill named Bob Barar. So him and I started 2SP together.
I like how you said a company called 2SP, like nobody would know who it was.
I don't know how far the reach is for all the listeners.
The Russian?
Yeah. It was him and me for a little while. We hired a bunch of other brewers along the way, or one brewer in particular, and then it got bigger from there. And then I met Justin along the way. I had already known him, and then at one point he came up to me and he was just like, "So we want to do this." I'm just like, "All right." And he showed me a couple places they were interested in. I'm just like, nah. And then we walked into this place, and I was like, yo, this is it.
Yeah.
As soon as I walked, it looked nothing like this. We were literally
really?
So that's
space from the
that's
ground
what
up.
I was going to ask. What is this? Since you brought it up, what was this before?
It was piles of garbage to the ceiling and
Rubbish.
walls.
The whole building.
It was rubbish.
The whole building's got great history.
We
Go ahead,
walked
Ruben.
in, and it was just like we could still kind of carve out how much square footage we want, because no one really had anything. There were plans for upstairs. Upstairs is apartments, but down here it was sort of free reign on first come first serve. How much space do you want? Wow. So they dug down into the floor. We put all the drains in. We put all of the piping in the walls. We built all the walls. This was completely built from literally the ground up. But when I walked in, the first things that I saw was the two walls of this beautiful brick with these giant windows.
That's what I was going to say. So this brick has to be original.
The bricks are 200 plus years old. That
columns and beams.
Yeah, so
nice.
So that was the first thing that I saw, with all the light pouring in, it being right next to the L. There were a lot of factors here that made it a great spot.
Right.
So I immediately walked in. I was silent for a minute. I looked around. I was like, "This is the space." And I think he signed the lease, or they signed the lease, a few days later or something like that. Yeah.
2021.
So then I went to 2SP, I quit, and then it took us way too long to open this place, which is a story in itself. But that leads us to where we're at now.
Thank you for telling us, because that was going to be my next question.
Off limits.
Yeah, so how I got in a beer and how I got here. That's pretty much the story.
Yo, I like that.
Nice.
I like that. So with this area, what's the demographic in this area like?
It's historically Dominican and Puerto Rican.
Really?
Yeah. It was funny when I first was telling people that I was starting this business with them. I was trying to buy a couch in South Philly, and the dude who was helping me.
Any good story starts at
Shut up, Mike.
The dude,
Not at the furniture store, though.
the dude who was helping me, he was we were making small talk when he was running my credit or something like that, and then he was like, "Oh, where are you starting a business?" I'm like, "Oh, the corner of Burke's in front, essentially." He's like, "Really? What business are you opening?" I'm like, "Oh, I make beer. It's gonna be a brewery." He looked me up and down. He was like, "You're opening a beer spot at York Dolphin? What?" He grew up here. He's like, "Man, I couldn't wait to leave that area." But yeah, he was just shocked. He was like, "Things have changed since I was a kid." But it's true. So the demographic, I don't think it's shifting too aggressively, but you see all the construction going up along the L, and you're getting a lot of there's a lot of development over here, but it's still very neighborhood based. We have a decent relationship with some of the community leaders, and they really try and make it there's a lot of gardens all over the area, and there's a lot of history in this area, and they're really trying to keep it that way, and I think they're doing a really good job with it. So,
do you guys do anything to put into the area as well, any type of events or?
Yeah, we're just starting to kind of plant those roots and start to try to go and engage with the community to do a couple of different things too. And Matthew too, I'll let you go, and I didn't mean to go and steal your thunder there either. But yeah.
No, we're just starting to make outreach to neighborhood leaders, as Ruby was saying, for potential, just to be part of the community, but also to help fundraise. And there are like-minded businesses up and down the corridor. So there's a yoga studio a couple blocks away called Monarch, where we've already started partnering with them on neighborhood cleanups and that sort of stuff. So we're just getting into it. We've been open here, 6-7 months?
Almost 8.
8. Oh. But as we're starting to, grow a business here, we're also trying to be more and more part of the neighborhood.
I want to ask so much what happened from 4/2021 to 6.
I love how you remember
ago.
that day.
Yeah, I'm never gonna forget it.
Right, 4/2021.
But I'm not gonna ask. But 6 to 7. You said 8 months. You guys been open?
March.
March 9th.
Really?
March
Yeah,
9th.
it's crazy.
Yeah, because when you was like, we're just starting to get into outreach, I'm like, bro, y'all been here for 3 years, but no, you really have.
No, just earlier this year.
Gotcha,
Yeah, that's the
gotcha.
part of the story that the 2.5 years before March we were not supposed to talk about.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about.
Oh,
it.
so
We
this
just
is
know
all
that-
Ruby's fault, basically.
It's not my fault. I did everything I could.
Ruby said I did everything I could. I washed my hands. I can't. I like that.
That lost time was all his fault.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about that, but that's good that you guys are doing the cleanups and the more outreach. Do you guys invite people from the community to come in?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Would you just
I mean, we strive ourselves
pickleball park and
more.
just
I'm
go
sorry.
out and play a little pickleball and say, "Come drink a beer"?
Yeah, well, no, we do a hot dog night once a week, so they're over there working out, and then what's the best thing to do after you work out is come here and eat hot dogs and drink
put the
beer.
calories back on. Put the calories back on. Yeah. That's great.
I got it off. Give it back to
You guys,
me.
so is there a kitchen here?
There is no kitchen. No, we do food trucks, and then we do the hot dog pop ourselves. So
Okay.
Cool.
No, I guess the obvious question I didn't ask in the beginning: what is the Sacred Vice? Beer?
what is what?
What is the Sacred Vice? Beer? Is that what?
They're making me do a lot of work. So
I'm lifting this mic as heavy.
I know.
Justin and I, as cousins, grew up. His brother, my mom, or no,
My father.
your father, my mom were brother and sister. Okay, and grew up in Philadelphia, northern Philadelphia.
They're on
grew
this
up-
wall.
Yeah, we grew up hanging out together every week, and it was mostly on Sundays. So we weren't really a church going or synagogue or temple going family. We were like go out to brunch on a Sunday, then go back to somebody's house, watch the Eagles or do something outside or just hang out. And so Sundays were our thing. And then as we started home brewing, as Justin was explaining, and brewing every week, it was always Sundays when we home brewed together.
Okay.
And so that's where the Sacred comes from, and then the Vice comes from, we're making
I've never been
beer.
arrested before, but
It sounds like he
I never got close.
That sounds like he hiding something.
Beer was involved, and I don't know what he's hiding.
He said the
Vices.
vice. Off the
I
record.
didn't want to say this in the first place.
I did thought he was going to give us an off the record.
I was hoping to.
My vice is
Go on.
Looking at all the cameras and the microphones. And I do have a
88
day
was a
job,
rough
so I
year.
had to stop myself.
That's funny.
Oh, so it had nothing to do with beer at all.
no, his vice is something different.
Just when we brewed it.
But was that the first name y'all landed on? Like when you said you were going to open up a brick and mortar and have a real big business, that y'all were going to go with that name? Is that
So,
how it
I
worked?
mean, I wouldn't say the first. Somewhere I have a document of when we were starting to play with names, and I don't know where it is, but I wish I could locate it. But no, it was pretty quick though that we found that name, and we're like, yeah, that makes sense. It feels right to us, and that's what we went with.
What was the name of the Sunday Homebrew Club? I feel like y'all had a name.
Nah, we didn't, honestly.
No? Okay, so no names until brick and mortar.
Yeah, a
idea
couple of
started.
whackers having fun.
Yeah, whackers.
Couple of whackers having fun. That sounds like another beer coming up soon.
What do you mean? That's definitely a name. A couple of whackers having fun.
Couple of whackers having fun.
That's definitely a what flavor? What style of beer is that?
I don't want to know.
Yeah, me either.
I mean, y'all named it.
So
Did we?
I think we did.
with the aesthetics in here, whose idea was the whole
The concept.
The concept.
So, so it's a riff on our our original location. So it's different than this space in that there aren't any windows. It's a shared space in a big giant building that goes across 2 blocks, and it's shared artist space. There's woodworkers, there's glass blowers, there's furniture makers. It's a wonderful building and a wonderful community of people, but our little humble abode, 900 square feet, had no windows.
900 square feet.
But we decked it out. There was one wall that was all family photos, and it was all older vintage furniture, and it became comfy and cozy, and we dug it, and people came, and they enjoyed it, and again, this came across because we had enough confidence based upon what we built over there.
Right.
So we certainly wanted to try to create a bridge from that space to this space to make it feel a certain way, despite the fact that there's awesome, beautiful windows and gorgeous natural light. But yeah, it all stemmed from the look and the feel of the old space, which we wanted to create to go and pay respect to our family who were certainly on the walls and, kind of go that direction.
That's nice.
Everything. It's just funny looking around here, though, because even like the lamps and everything is like real homey.
Yeah,
it's old vintage stuff, man.
It's real homey. That lamp in the
It's
corner.
hard to find this. The stuff that's out here is hard to
The
find.
brass-looking lamp in the corner is the one that's killing me because everybody has
3?
Yeah,
The 3,
everybody
yeah.
had one of those in their house.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Everyone.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice gathering hole where people can get together and just really enjoy themselves and drink a lot of beers because a lot of them are low ABV. You can drink and hang out.
It's funny. I feel like sitting here though. I should have like a suit on and like a cigar in my hand for some reason. Not even a lit cigar, just a cigar.
Like
and
1940s chill clothes.
Maybe
1940s hangout
I was hoping
clothes.
like 1970s leisure suit.
Yeah, like a leisure
That's
Leisure
over
suit
there.
Larry.
Over there,
Like a
you
leisure
sit over
suit.
there.
Yes.
Where he's
Alright.
sitting right here, he needs a
That makes
3-piece
sense.
suit and a cigar.
I can
But it's a
respect that.
leisure suit. The Saturday Night Fever's over there.
I feel like somebody should walk up to me and say, "Hey, Big Daddy." She like,
That's what you think? Okay.
like I'll be sitting at
That
the
can
bar.
always happen.
I'll be sitting over there at the bar, my back turned, and she walks up, "Hey, Big Daddy," and I'm like, "Hey."
Or how about this?
Or
The bar
we know what your sacred vice is.
being called that. Or this is one of the bars where they throw the mug of beer down the bar. Yeah,
We have a bartender who likes to do that. Yeah, Payne loves doing that.
It does?
Yeah, oh,
I
gosh,
need to
yes.
see that in action.
Me too.
Make it the whole way down.
Yeah, I
I'm
like
scared
that.
to do it, but
I
they
like
do
that.
it.
You gotta try.
Does it get crowded in here?
Yes, I mean, yeah, certain nights, absolutely. We get the DJ booth starting to go in and start spinning records and whatnot. Yeah, we have some fun.
That's you.
Not just me. We have friends in the
okay.
neighborhood. Yeah, I enjoy learn. I'm getting better and trying to go and figure that stuff out. But we have friends who are much better than I, and
So
yeah,
What's your
starting to
DJ
do
name?
that stuff.
What's your DJ name?
DJ Uncle Dud. He's like, wait, what?
did you make that up? You made that up just
We don't
now?
need to get into that. That's a nephew who calls me that.
DJ Uncle Doug. Your name's not-
D-U-D.
No, Dud. Dud. Oh,
Like, you don't want to
Dud.
listen. That shit's a dud.
The way he said it was like so like crazy.
But did I?
Are you DJing? Are you
Uncle Dud.
DJing these records on the back wall and in the DJ booth? Are you taking them down and actually playing those in your DJ sets?
Yeah.
Are the guest DJs doing that as well, or do they bring their own?
I mean, when we have certain friends, of course, if they wanted to spin a record, but most of the DJs who come in and spin here, they have their own collections,
Okay.
and we welcome that. But yeah, this is our collection here that lives here, and certainly if I'm going to go and
It's a.
create a set, yeah, we're pulling from the wall.
Can we talk about your
Yeah, of course.
this vast collection of records?
Right, it's
a record.
ridiculous.
It's a record store.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
I
crazy.
mean, it started with early on at Amber Street, which is our original location. We wanted to play records and do something a little different than most other rooms to go and drink beer or alcohol in. And yeah, obviously that came and grew over to this space, and I guess the collection grew over the years.
Yeah.
Let's be
collection is
honest.
ridiculous.
Justin has a problem.
Yeah.
That's his vice.
I was gonna say,
That's like largely like his doing. And at our old spot, the record player was out in out in the open, so anybody could go out and play a record.
Okay.
And when we opened the old spot, that's still the rule. And when we first opened, like Justin would have to hold me back because I'd be like, "That's the worst record." And you're like, "You have to let it play all the way through. We have to give everybody their time."
You had to let the whole record play. The whole
we do.
one
We play
side?
side by side. Yeah.
Wow.
For the most part.
So here, though, it's behind the bar, and even if we don't have a DJ, the bartenders are playing records.
Okay.
Yeah, on crowded nights at the old space, other people would come up in the middle of a side. If they didn't like it, they were drunk enough, they were like, "Oh, pick the needle up," and then changing the record.
Did that cause
was
problems?
not cool.
Yeah, I was about to say that would cause
can't do that.
problems.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Now, I have another question about these records. How do you know is there a catalog?
No, there's no catalog.
So you
we
would
do
just
have
be
them
randomly-
organized into certain
Okay.
cubbies, and Angelica, who runs the front of house here at the bar, she was good enough to go and start to organize them. I'm certainly not as organized as she is, but yeah, we have a general idea of different genres, vibes for the room, and where they're located.
Okay.
I kind of know where certain records are myself, just from exploring them all.
So
but
you guys try to put them back where you found them.
we do try to do that, and that's for the entire team, for the rest of the bartenders, for telling everyone outside of me who they know if they want to look for something, they know where to find it, and they know when to play it if the time's right.
Gotcha. I like that.
I like that.
How many do you have? Do you know?
That's a lot. Listen,
I mean, in this
It's a
room,
whole
I think
lot.
there's around 1,500-ish. Which that's not that much compared to plenty of other record bars in the country.
Yeah,
Okay.
There's a lot of great record bars that have way more
this is
than
the
that.
biggest record bar I've been in. How about that?
Say what?
I said you're the biggest record bar I've been in.
Oh, I feel honored by
because
that.
he's only been in one.
I love you too.
It's the only one. It's the only one he's ever been in.
There's one in L.A. called Gold Line. They have over
crazy.
9,000 records. Yeah.
I just like
Peanut
1,500.
butter wolf.
I don't even know if you could play every record, and you still have in a year. You will still
No, yeah, and you're right.
still have
there.
more
That's-
records
yeah.
left. Yeah, that's awesome.
That aren't open yet.
Yeah, that's what I would imagine.
We gotta get them open. What's going on?
That's
people are
because
slacking.
it's just a vibe. So records are going to get replayed before a record gets open. There's no strategy to it. It's whatever the beer tender is feeling or whatever the guys are feeling.
Quickly as the big ones, they just get put away. And then they get
Well,
You get overlooked.
the other thing too is once they started getting organized, we'd find 3, 4, 5
Of the same copy,
kind.
yeah.
Okay.
Justin did it again.
You're right. Yeah.
I like to buy records for my family members. I might not always remember that I have multiple copies and send them to my sisters.
That's when
but
they
I
become
love them,
gifts.
and I do
that's
try.
when they become gifts when we do the inventory.
Thought that counts.
Well, this could go for it because I was just going to ask Ruby, but for any of y'all, have y'all listened to a record and it inspired a beer?
No.
Both of them shook their heads yes. And we was like, nope.
Says the brewer. No.
So Ruby, I'll ask you this question then: what does inspire you to make a beer or to write a recipe for a beer?
Recently, pretty much just like the best beers that I've had in my past that I don't always have access to.
Oh, just try to
Usually,
recreate
the reason I make things kind of it spawns backwards from something that used to taste a certain way that I no longer taste it that way, or it doesn't taste that way anymore. So I tend to create it the way that I remember it, or the way that I want it to taste. Either that, or I don't know. Yeah,
That's good. That was good.
that's like where. That's the only inspiration that I think I've had recently was that, like, you know, there's some of these styles and these like legacy brands that don't quite measure up to how they did like 10 years ago. So now that I have this awesome tool back there and that I'm in control now, and, you know, I have partners and I'm in charge pretty much, sort of. I can just make things taste the way that I want to, and I don't have to worry about anything other than making it taste good.
Right.
So,
Is the system that you guys have big enough for you to experiment?
Yeah, absolutely. It's big enough that it gives us a lot of power to sort of get out there and make a name for ourselves, but it also is small enough that if things taste good enough and gain popularity, that we can get rid of it fast enough. So I can afford to be a little weird and afford to do things that are a little bit more out there that people might not see every day. And that was sort of the plan all along, was to not go too small, but not go too big that we can't maintain creativity. And just, because the root of everything that I think is happening here is being original and making a name for ourselves that's uniquely ours and nobody else's. So.
Now, I'm curious. I know we know Ruby likes low ABV beers and stuff like that. I don't know if
He also likes
y'all-
stouts.
And
I was going to say,
He
one
likes
of the
stouts,
style
too.
we have not
Yeah.
brewed before, which we're both so excited to brew, is Baltic Porter.
Oh, okay.
And a
Baltic Porter.
big old dirty Baltic Porter.
Yeah.
So he likes it. He likes them all.
Okay.
He does.
He did.
Yeah, that. But not like, I coming from 2SP in Iron Hill, working with Bob Barrar for the longest time, like that guy makes pretty decent dark beer. He's always been very renowned for Russian Imperial Stout. He's won a few awards for it along the years too. So I always like looking up to him as like one of the best brewers out there. I could only hope to achieve what he's achieved with that one style, but I don't want to brew that style because he's already done it and he's come close to perfecting it. So like, if perfection exists, why do I want to do that?
To mess that
I'd
up, yeah.
rather try and make something else perfect.
Where
that's
you
that's
at?
mine.
What's
So
your
that's
perfect
why
beer?
I was looking at Baltic Porter.
Gotcha.
Lagers are the way of the right now, apparently. So it being a lager and it just being like a very underappreciated style, there's room to expand people's appreciation for it. There's room to teach people about it. It's a style that you ask any beer nerd about Baltic Porter and they're going to be like, yeah, like Baltic Porter. Like that's every single person will smile when you talk about Baltic Porter, or at least I think they should.
And they will once they have yours.
Well, we can only hope. I've made like 2 in my career. I made one with Iron Hill, and I know not that one specifically, but that recipe won a bunch of awards. And then I made one with 2SP that was pretty good. So I'm just excited with the system. Like there are certain things about our system that I specifically designed for Baltic Porter.
So you was preparing for
Yeah.
this.
So that's how I designed the brewery. Piping was around certain styles, like or certain processes. Like one being a big dark beer, others being making saisons, others being lagers and decocting. So having that forethought to be able to use that and think about like every style that I want to make and go down the line of like, how do I do this? How do I do that? Like, just doing as much reading as I can and learning up on like all these historical methods of making X, Y, and Z.
So that's going to be really special. Not special enough, but really special. Or Ruby special.
Maybe
Whatever
not
you
the
wanna
first
go.
time, hopefully the second time.
Now, personally, what are your favorite styles to like personally drink all the time?
I'll start. A style that we love that Ruby and I both bonded over as our friendship kind of blossomed was saison.
Okay.
Yeah, I love saison. I love, dirty and clean saisons.
I was about to say,
all
the-
different.
the funky or non-funky?
No, I like them all.
Like 'em all.
A little
Okay.
clean table saison. I like certainly some wonderful saisons that are,
Super
funky and blended.
Yeah.
and, yeah, European.
Yeah, and I don't. I'll drink whatever, but
He sound like me. I just drink.
but it
Is it
depends
beer?
on the is it daytime, nighttime, hot weather,
Thursday,
cold weather?
Friday.
Matt's easy going.
I would say when I sit down, I'm looking at a list. Not everyone has these, but if they do, the first 2 styles that I would gravitate towards would be light lager and brown ale. Brown ale was my first. It was the first style that I ever had where I was like, oh my god, like this is one of the best beers ever. It was Brooklyn Brown Ale. That was arguably the beer that like bridged me over into liking craft beer. When I was in high school, whenever I would go to the store and I had a few extra dollars, I would get Brooklyn Brown Ale.
Hold on.
It went from like 40s to Yingling.
Hold
to
on,
Brooklyn
don't skip
Brown Ale.
past that. You was in high school.
Yeah,
And he would walk in and out.
I got held back a few times.
There you go.
He already had the beard. He already had the beard. So
I was 21 in 6th grade.
No, but yeah, Brown Ale has always been super special to me, and not a lot of people make them, probably for good reason. I don't think they sell very well. But like anytime I see one, I'm always going to get it.
That's Rob with ESBs.
Yeah.
He did the same
sure.
thing. He said ESB. He on it.
That's why I like going to the Midwest a lot, is because the Midwest and the mountain regions, they always have brown ales wherever you go. Brown ales and amber ales.
Huh.
You don't see that as much in the East Coast. We're all trying to make that happen again, but it's going okay.
No, like somebody listening or watching, like what would be when they come in? What are the beers that they have to have before they walk out of here?
I mean, I think that Back Trunk and the Special would be the two. Back Trunk is like the OG recipe for the name for Sacred Vice, and that's the beer. That beer is untouched. I literally scaled the recipe from 10 gallons to 10 barrels 1-to-1. There are some things that definitely translated a little oddly, but I think it's pretty damn close to what it used to be on a 10-gallon system, which is pretty remarkable. It's 3 malts, one hop, but like, you know, the hops don't play too much into it, and then a nice Irish yeast.
Did your
super
grandfather
simple.
ever get to taste it?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah, and then Special, it's just like it's a cream ale. Like, I just think that's cool.
Yeah.
And it's 3.5. It's 3.6%.
Yeah, that's 3.5. That's yes.
It's crystal clear. It's bubbly. It's got enough flavor. Like it's a dope beer.
Looking at this list of beers, what is it? Plowman Wild Cider.
Not ours.
That's not theirs.
That's
Plowman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we try and keep something for everyone, so people that come in that can't drink beer.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Why
yeah,
cider?
Yeah, so we have one cider option. Plowman's a local company, good people. So we just try and support the homies.
That's what's
For
up.
the beers that you guys make in house, I know like Back Trunk Britches and the other one I can't remember the name. Special enough. Yeah, special enough.
Yo, by the way, before you go into that, they do something special for the Eagles, though. I'm looking at on here. They have a special mug.
Yeah.
So instead of it called
Philly Special.
Philly
enough.
Special, they do got special mugs.
It's always Philly Special enough.
Right.
When it's in the
we're gonna
mug,
steal
exactly.
that for marketing purposes. Philly special.
You always 11. What we charge 11%?
Which is funny because that went up 1% too.
Thanks. But with the ones that you keep on, do you have any one-offs, or is there a rotating list of beers that you guys like? I know Baltic Porter is going to be on the list, but I'm assuming if you like it, it's going to stay.
That's an interesting question, and I would turn that back on you to say, when you go to a brewery,
I love
do you
this question.
expect to see the same beers on tap? Like, this is why I go to this brewery. I want this beer every time I go, or do you like to see new things on tap?
Me personally, if you like, I like Gozas and I like lambics and I like sours. So if you have a good one, I want it to always be there because they're hard for me to find that taste good to me. But if it's like up here, there's none of those up here. So I don't care if it changes. If you have one-offs, it's fine. But if there's a style that I particularly like, I would love for it to always be available to me.
See, me, I don't know if it's a actual style
Or even
thing.
a beer. But even a beer
I don't
that
think
you
it's
like.
an actual style thing. I think it's just the actual beer itself. Yeah. That if I had a beer that I think that is just great at this one brewery, then when I go in there, I want to see it up there every time. Which may not even happen because it may be one of their one-offs. I don't even know. It may be one of their one-offs. But I love it. So I'm like, where's this beer at when I go back there?
I'm not a fan of one-offs because it has the potential to be the best beer I've ever tasted.
Right, and that's
and if it's the best beer I've ever tasted, I can only get a case. That'll be gone in less than a year.
Yeah.
unless it's supposed to be like I can make it. Like I'll try my best if it's the best beer I've ever had, but eventually it will be gone. And unless the brewery closes, I don't want the beer to be gone. Like that's how I feel about a beer that I enjoy.
I'm more of I see 14 placards up there. As long as
something to choose.
As long as it's not 10 of them that's IPAs, then I'm good to go.
I like going into a brewery, have some variety. Yeah. You don't have to have sours. You don't have to have you don't have to have an IPA. But if you have 6 or 7 different styles of your 10 to 12 beers, that's beautiful.
But
that's a beautiful
and
thing.
I think even based in the neighborhood, because I live down from a neighborhood bar as well, and they kind of have their staples there that if I want to walk up to there and get it, it's there, and it's like that's comfort to it. Yep. So I can go both ways. Like if you throw a couple like these are our experimental beers for the day, cool. Yeah. But if you got that beer that you're known for it, and then every time I come, and no matter what time of the year I come, it's always tasting the same, and it's always good. Then it's a great spot to come to. So, but as long as you don't got 15 IPAs,
the same ones,
I would feel crazy if I walked in here and Special Enough wasn't up there. That would be straight
after having had it.
Right after having it. If it wasn't up there when I came back, I'm like,
what's happening?
I guess that shit wasn't that special enough.
I feel like you set that up like 3 minutes ago.
So answering the question, like Rubbish and Special Enough are like the 2 mainstays that are up there. Okay. Rubbish, I always try and keep on. Rubbish has been the one that has never changed since the beginning. Crippled went away for a little bit. But yeah, like most of these beers are legacy brands, as Matthew called them at one point. The names, except for Bilbus, but these are, for the most part, beers that have they're originally recipes made by Justin and Matthew. Okay. And then I just sort of adapted them to the system, and then they all have labels too. So a lot of these are in cans. So that was very strategic when we were opening and making our, the first 6 months, our push into the first list of certain beers, that everything has a can and everything is like, we can sell it off site and trying to expand the name that way.
So what are y'all distributing locally?
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, we're just at some friends' bars here and there, so nothing too crazy. We try and keep everything to here at the moment.
So no bottle shots, more restaurants and bars.
We sell some. We just started selling some cases here and there. Okay. So just like locally, nothing too crazy. Okay.
But when you say cans, I'm like, they got cans there? I didn't even think.
So I can actually just to-go beer here? You still to-go beer?
Yep. Yeah, so it's at least half the brands. I think 6 brands of the.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
All right. Yeah. That's pretty. We have a release tomorrow or on Halloween on Thursday. It's a big stout. So that's an old recipe that they made. So I adapted it to this system, and then it's a cool label. Yes. Works for Halloween. Yes. So
nice.
That's cool.
Buried Motives is the name.
Nice. Any more questions?
You want a battery?
Nah, it's time.
No.
He still got battery.
Any more beer?
I'm looking. He still got battery.
I got plenty battery.
But yeah, that was. Do I have any more questions? I don't think so. I just want y'all to continue to do what you guys are doing, grow, make sure that y'all get out in the community, because it seems like it's a variety of people out here. One thing I would suggest, I forgot what the demographic he said it was. I know Dominican was in there.
And Puerto
Rican. Maybe making some kind of beer that correlates with the community. And
we're on
putting that out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, bring them in. We could bring them all in, and we'll collab and do a podcast with them.
Yep.
I like how y'all do have Cinco de Mayo, and it's October. Wasn't it? That was like Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm like, that came out in October.
I'm like, where is she singing about? But yeah, I see it.
And I was like, no, I know I saw it. Y'all all said no. The last thing I want to say about the aesthetic about the, I noticed like it's all these visual things. There's so many books, with so many records. Y'all are constantly playing Popeye, which I think is I would like to hear.
Yeah, I love
close out.
I was trying not to watch it while we were recording.
But
but you face it that direction. It's different. I'm over here like.
But yeah, like just the different books. Are y'all just picking up random books and putting them? Are y'all placing them strategically?
No, I mean, yeah.
Because I took a book off the shelf and I was like, dang, I don't know.
When we had to fill the space, it was definitely what we had in our homes and what was available to us to go and create the space when we were trying to get open back in March. So yeah, no, they're all personal. Just like the pictures on the walls, they do. They mean something to us.
Yeah, and it goes with the vibe, with the whole vibe.
And is Popeye always on the loop, or
no, all different types of visuals on the wall.
Before you guys came in, Justin was commenting how he loved the colors of Popeye and how it blended with the colors.
Yeah, that is true.
If you look at the colors of this particular cartoon, it goes very well, in my opinion, with
that's the thought that we put into it.
And then we all are of an age. I'm not sure how old you are, Ruby. You look a little bit younger than us, but we feel like I'm all of an age where Popeye was on. When I was a child, Saturday morning, I was watching a little bit of Popeye.
Yeah.
Ruby's not that much younger. He looks young. He's What are you, 4 years younger than me?
Now when he said he was drinking in college, when he said he was drinking in college,
he was drinking in elementary school.
Yeah. But that college, but no, the college year. When I heard the college year,
what the hell were you doing in fifth grade?
Fifth grade for Ruby could have been like 2007 though. Like I'm not sure.
Now,
fifth grade for me was in the 80s. Okay.
Before we wrap up, I'm always curious to know when people think about Sacred Vice or planning a visit, because now Philadelphia is a beer destination city, I guess.
So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What do you want them to leave with when they come and then they leave? What are some of the thoughts or the feelings or the emotions that they should walk out with?
If I could start there, I mean, we've put a lot of so the original spot, it was always just Matthew and myself working behind the bar, and we obviously felt a certain way about the music we were playing and the beers that we made. But I'm particularly proud of the team that we built here, and I feel like no matter what day of the week you come in at any time, no matter who's behind the bar, we have people who I think have learned to understand what we were trying to build, and they care about the beers that we're making and the music that we're playing and the pictures on the wall. And I think anybody who would come in here would say, wow, that was just a wonderful human being giving me an experience with a wonderful beer in a glass and obviously, hopefully, good music in your ears. And I hope it would be different than a number of different places out there, but I hope that that's what would be memorable, was the experience of spending 30 minutes or an hour having a beer or two and sharing that with the human across the bar and hopefully the humans beside you as well in this room, in this space.
I've definitely never been to a brewery like this.
Right. That's one thing I was going to say I like about Philadelphia and their breweries too. Like everybody's different. Like nobody has the same.
It's almost like y'all. It's almost like I'm gonna be a new brewery. Let me walk into all 30-some breweries to make sure I'm not like them. It's like almost like y'all have a guild. It's almost like y'all have a guild, and it's like, nope, you can't can't have that on the wall. You can't, you can't do that. That's our Sacred Vice is doing that. Some such and such is doing this over here.
It's funny that that's what you said, because that leads me into what I would think, or what I was gonna say, is that like. There's like a generation of brewers that were around when I started that are now just starting to create their own spaces and take the next step into to do something and like fulfill their visions. There are a few people that have done it before us, and there are about to be a bunch more. And us being part of this generation where we were around for like the heyday, I'm using quotations, of craft beer, and then the massive like bubble of it when like the 2012s and stuff and on from there. So we've been through all of it. We've seen like the exaggeration of beers to the absolute fullest of it not even being beer anymore. It's just dessert that has alcohol in it.
Yeah, love those.
So basically what, and you know, every brewery has like Jenga. Every brewery has, you know, a certain type of like bar top, a certain type of chair, a certain type of aesthetic. It's like kind of a model, and then everyone's just sort of chasing each other. And now that we all worked for these people and worked through these breweries, now that we're sort of going back to when, like, before beer was hype, before beer was like you had to wait in line, before everything was Instagram driven, back when we actually just really loved the beer. So what I'm trying to do here, and what I think a lot of other people in Philadelphia specifically are trying to do, it's like you take a look at those beers, there's nothing that crazy. It's all, you know, I'm putting like weird hops and weird styles with like the New Zealand bitter or something like that.
We weren't going to leave
I mean?
without talking about that.
So it's just like everything here is like fairly tame for the style, but everything has its place in every one of those draft lines. I just want everything to be like well made and just thoughtful without being too over the top. Like I just want it to be like, I just want to pinpoint like having things done the way that they used to be rather than how people think they're supposed to be. And the things that, for the most part, that's the way that I think we want it, and I want it too. Like we're making beer for us. We're not making beer for whatever the internet says that we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then aside from that, with the aesthetic, it's just like, you know, we don't want you to walk in and be like, oh, it's another brewery. Like you walk in here, my best friend I've known him since I was like 4.
The Brown Ale days.
He walked in here and he's like, where's the brewery? And he was sitting right next to the brewery.
It's funny though because I didn't notice it either.
I walked to the
then
door.
I walked over there and I'm like, oh shit.
Like, yeah, that's it.
I was like, oh, here we are.
So it's just like we're trying to like we're not trying to recreate the wheel. We're just trying to like kind of outgrow the stigma that people think that breweries have to be a certain way.
Yeah.
I even noticed one particular thing, not to cut you off, is that y'all taps aren't like right behind the bars.
No, there's they were very purposefully put under the bar, so that when you're pouring a beer, the servers always like you can always maintain conversation face to face.
And it's not a bad spot
sense.
on the bar, on the table. Like every seat is a good seat because no one usually likes to sit in front of.
Yeah, you'd be like,
And then it's fun.
Hey, I like to buy. Can I get it? Can I?
Because it's funny that they say that because it's like a lot of conversations happen between the person pouring the beer and the person that's buying the beer, right? But their back gets turned every time because they're turning around to get you a beer, and then they ain't hear what you say.
Or,
so you
I wasn't even thinking about that. Sometimes the taps are behind, but I was thinking about the taps just being in front of my face.
Yeah,
but that all translates to like what I think we all think or what we all feel is that we want you to come in here, feel welcome, not be overwhelmed, not feel like anything is inaccessible, and everything's to the fullest quality possible. That's pretty much, I think, what we all strive for.
nice.
I like that.
And it definitely looks like 2024 outside, but not inside. So it's like a time travel.
Yeah. How about you, Matt? Did you have something?
I mean, the only thing I'd add to that is kind of take it back to that beer history, and you know, you could talk about pre-prohibition Philadelphia, as in most cities, like there was a brewery in every neighborhood, and Philadelphia's getting back.
I agree.
To that,
Yeah.
and if you just look at, if you go from downtown Philadelphia out towards us, like the number of breweries you can hit along the way, like it's amazing, and the quality of beer that you'll have along the way, and different styles, and like we were saying, like different style tap rooms. Like it's a incredible beer city again, and to be a part of a small part of it, like, you know, I'm just just over
You did it,
the
Matt.
crowd. Yeah.
You did it. You made history, Matt. You're in the book now.
Right.
You're in the next edition.
Well
You'll be in
said,
there.
cuz.
Congratulations.
Well
I
said,
might have to
cuz.
write that next.
Hey,
You never know. Hey.
if it needs to be done,
Right.
you don't have anything to do anymore. You might as well.
You're the least busy person over here, so you might as well do
looking for things to do.
I'll get right.
Add Sacred Vice to the footnotes for sure.
Or just try to. You could just do a vocal, just do like an audiobook and put it on the record.
Oh, that'd be great.
We can do that
That'd be
too.
great. And every couple of weeks, you just play it. Yeah, once a week. Thursdays at 3. We gonna.
All right. Well, we wanted to thank Justin Ruby and Matt for coming on the podcast
Yes,
of
sir.
Sacred Vice.
We appreciate you guys
Thank you.
for coming on today.
But before we go, we always like to know how people can find you on the World Wide Webs, how they can find the actual physical location, how can they find how to get to Sacred Vice or find out more about what's going on.
You can certainly start at www.sacredvice.com, but on Instagram, the brand itself is at Sacred Vice Brewing. This specific location here, our newest location, is at Sacred Vice Berks.
Okay.
But they'd be the best ways to go and connect with us and hopefully get your butt in the door.
What's the address?
Come hang out. 120 West Berks, Philadelphia, PA 19122.
That was his radio voice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No, Justin nailed it.
Was it the voice at the end?
Lou, how can they find you?
My name is Lou Belgium. I'm on them Instagrams.
Yo.
And here, I should say it in a very professional way. I feel like I should, because my grandma's lurking around here somewhere. So you can find me on Instagram at IM302Yoda.
And you can find Bruising Banter Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Bruising Banter Podcast or X, whatever you want to do it. If you can listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Pandora, iHeartRadio, anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can even say, Alexa, play Bruising Banter Podcast because we are on Amazon Music. If you want to follow me, Rob Steve Bruising, ping, 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 ping. I cannot do it without.
You can. You're not a robot. You cannot do it.
Robot.
At this point, I got to do
He's
it.
a robot.
It's programmed. Like,
That outro is ingrained.
It's called discipline.
yeah.
It's robotic.
This has been episode 271 of Bruising Banter Podcast.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot. If you want to follow us, www.bruisingbanter.com. We want to get merch, find out what was going on. We got coming up on 6 years in the game.
It's actually today.
Today is
Actually, yeah, today is our 6-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Congrats, boys.
Yes.
it is.
and
6 years ago, did we drop today?
tomorrow
we
technically.
recorded?
Tomorrow. We
We
recorded.
recorded.
Couple hours.
Tomorrow the
I mean, a
actual
couple hours. Yeah.
episode comes out. Episode came out October 30th,
Yeah. So, yeah.
2018.
Okay.
There
Well,
you go.
here we are.
So October 28th recorded and October 30th of 2018.
Drop Tuesday.
Yeah.
This has been episode 271. Until next time,
Have
Yes.
a good week, everyone.
peace.
Bye.